It says share screen. I don't think it shows me as on. I don't think they're going to turn it on until 10 o'clock, I guess.
Oh.
This is going to be like a 10-minute meeting.
Oh. That's great. We should get headed anyway.
Did you sleep okay?
Yeah, that sounds good. You said you had. Oh. Pizzas.
Oh. Yes. Nope. Well, yeah, there's two.
Oh. Okay. Wait for those though.
Okay, so I'm going to write this down. 325. Let me see if I can make a copy. Remove the plastic wrap, but keep it in the tray.
Right, I knew that.
We're 25 for 18, 21 minutes. It's usually done in 18 minutes.
What are you doing now?
Getting the pizzas.
Oh.
Let's see how it does this.
Mom said it was only going to be like 10 minutes.
Hmm?
The meeting was only going to be like 10 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Then when you take it out of the oven, you gotta take it out of that thing, cut it. Go. Collections. So Mike, what do you get when you have temporary or short-term disability? You get your pay?
Through insurance, it's not gonna be anywhere near what I get to week.
67% or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't got the first check yet because we got a week waiting period.
Yep.
So by state law, which this sucks, but by state law, I had to use a week of my vacation time.
Oh, really? By
Yeah.
state law, you do?
Yep. So I didn't have a choice in that, so there goes half my vacation time left. And then I think this week, by this Friday, I should see a check from the insurance. And I don't know what it'll be.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't brag about it.
67%, and it's not taxable. That's
It's
why
not.
I don't believe it's taxable, you should ask about that.
Yeah.
But. You want those?
I'm gonna grab my phone over there. Yeah. We're gonna go with
That worked pretty cool.
Yeah, that did actually work really good.
Yeah, those worked great. Look at you, okay. You got everything.
Check those twice.
Okay.
I didn't even have to tell her. She made her own checklist.
Yeah.
So.
I
Oh,
sure
she
did.
says she's got one going, one for here. Well, thank you for coming.
Oh, having this.
Yes, very much.
You?
You
Thank you
too.
so much for the weekend.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
You need anything, you know where we are.
Okay. See if you can make it out through the.
Oh, yeah. He's got it pretty well
Oh, he's
clear.
got it clear off now?
Yeah, he's got it.
Did he move the cars back? No. If you wanted them out of there, clear off and then bring it back.
Right. That's fine.
There was a solid 1.5 feet of snow on top of your car in the back.
Oh, I bet.
It blew off our car onto your car.
All right. We'll see you later.
Safe travel.
Yep.
bad, nasty. Oh, there you go. Hello. Wow. I'm very blurry.
You're blurry?
Well, my picture shows me as very blurry, but let me see if I can get the
You
sound
look
up.
fine here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look fine.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, how are you?
Good. We're still digging out. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I have more digging out to do.
Well, the wind's coming from the west, so it blows all the snow from the road into our yard. Do I look blurry on your screen?
No,
No.
not you look fine.
On mine, it looks very blurred. Let me see if I can shut this window. Is that the one? Yeah. I don't know. Okay. There's Mary. I left my proposal back at the office because I was thinking I was going to be there.
Hi, Kat.
Hi.
What proposal?
The binder, I think.
Oh,
binder.
oh.
I left you some things on your desk too, Mary.
Okay.
It has, it's the book and the paperwork that I sent into the state for the garden for the Friends of the Library.
Oh, okay. I'll pick it up on my way out.
Okay. What time? We're right. It's right time, right? 10:01. Okay. I'll call the meeting to order. The Listers Group at 10:01. Today is the 17th of February. And if you could help me, Lisa, with the agenda, which I also left on my desk.
Yep. So adjustments, any adjustments to the agenda? I don't have any. Do you have any? No?
No.
No. Comments and questions from the public. We have no public. Nobody
Okay.
ventured. So board discussion action items with the townwide reappraisal, to review the proposal.
Let's start with questions people have about the proposal. Jim or Mary?
Questions. Well, I had a couple, one of the biggest question I have is how are they going to determine water quality in the bays and in certain areas? Because you kind of gotta be from here and know water access, but more like water quality, like bays that turn green in the summer are not going to be valued the same as Broad Lake.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That is a good question. If
And-
there wasn't anything about, other than they had lots of experience in waterfront,
Yeah,
It didn't say how they would, you're right, there was nothing about the details about how. Okay, so we'll reach out, I mean, I don't know the answer to that, so.
we just have a
think
lot of
It's,
towns.
yeah, it's more like questions we're gonna have when we set this up. Because my biggest question was, I was looking at the cost, and I'm pretty sure that we have put aside money in addition to what we get from the state,
Correct.
so that we would be in a good place to cover the cost for what they proposed, which I think if we compared it to what we paid in 2014, it's very close to what we paid in 2014. Does that sound right, Lisa?
Yep, Mary had asked me to figure out what we spent in 2014. And, it was about $121,074.
And did that include, because we ended up getting an extra copier and,
From what I understand, Pete, that's why we got the extra copier and all that, and that was all.
that was all under.
Yeah, it was, the salaries, the contract, telephone, postage, and supplies is what's here.
Okay,
I don't see anything about printing, but,
well, we got our own copier because we had to keep printing things out and copying things, and we kept running out to go do it. So that's when we were up at the school, we had to go all the way out to the outer office.
okay.
So it just saved us time, and
So do you guys rent a copier or
I
something?
think it was rented. Corinne would know.
Well, she thought that's when we got the big copier downstairs.
We got our own,
You had a separate one.
yeah.
So I don't see where that was here.
Hmm.
Because I only pulled what's under the reappraisal fund, so I was assuming that was everything that went
Yeah.
to the reappraisal. So
Was
I
it-
can look at the copier piece of it.
So would they do the copying at their
It
office?
sounds like
Yeah.
they will do that, yeah,
But postage
yeah,
And-
the
and-
mailings and, yeah,
Mailing are
is
ours.
in addition to,
yeah.
yeah.
So we've been putting about $15,000 a year aside. And we have about 110. That includes what we've been saving from the town side and what we get from the state side
That's
So we
what we
have
have now.
that we have now, yep.
And we put in 15 for next year.
And we put in 15 for next year. And that doesn't include the second two installments for this year. So you're gonna have another 7,500, plus whatever the state. So we're gonna be close, and I think we'll have to plan on bumping it up for 26, 27.
And what was their total cost?
156. 156.5.
Okay.
And that, they would start in July of 26, right?
July 1st, 2026, yep.
Okay,
So
and
the
we-
first tax bill you get with the new values is gonna be August 27.
August 27, yep. We filed the grand list July 1st, 2027 with the new value.
okay. Um, uh,
So we
Awesome.
should ask them how they're going to rate water quality, though. I'm just going back to that for a second, Mary, because do you know how they did it in 2014?
we all worked together on it. And as listers, like, we used Frank for, opinions on water quality because he's out there all the time and in the summer and knows where the milfoil is and all of that. So, it seems like if they're willing to take our opinion on what the water quality is like, and I don't know, even show them what we're looking at in the summertime, but they've got to be available like
that first summer.
Yeah,
Okay,
I wonder if
Um,
we would prevent a lot of heartache about this if we did somewhat of a map and showed how we would rate water quality, and then we could get public feedback on that before they start in July 2026. It would be one less thing for arguments.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And it should be noted in their appraisals.
Right.
Um, I, I want to make sure they're open to accepting our opinions,
yeah,
or open to the idea that there are areas that aren't as good. Yeah,
Yeah.
When's it at its worst? Sort of late August?
July, August.
July,
Yeah.
August.
that
Yeah.
was usually when it's hot, right?
And, the other thing is, what is the little organization we have up here, that does the milfoil,
Oh, PBR,
what is it?
it's PBRA.
Bay.
Yeah, it's no longer, it's Partners for Bay Restoration.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And so we might be able to use them for backing this up. So it's not like, wasn't
I mean, it used to be Pilots Bay Restoration Association, but they have permits for 3 different bays, so they didn't want it to be just Pilots Bay, so it's Partners for Bay
Okay,
Restoration.
and that is for Abnaki? Is that the bay? I forget.
Hibbert, it's Hibbert Bay down
That's
there.
Hibbert Bay.
I don't know if it's for Hibbert Bay. I think they have 3. I think it's Cary Bay, Pilots Bay. Is that a bay?
Lots.
Yeah. And I don't know what the third one is. It may be Hibbert.
I'll ask.
I can reach out to Mark.
Okay.
All right.
I just
mean,
feel like,
Just thinking that would be a good thing for us to do. It would also put kind of the word out that we're going to be doing a reappraisal, and these are positive steps that we want to take as listers to get good data for the company that's going to do the reappraisal. Because because we get the little green bay, the little, I don't know if it's milfoil, it's not milfoil, but it is the bacteria here, but it depends on the height of the lake too. If we had a very, very dry spring so that the lake levels go down, it's worse here than it is if the water levels stay up. So, there's factors to be considered.
yeah,
These folks.
there is, but it's also like, I know as a realtor, that is a consideration when you're purchasing. Depends on what you want to use your lakefront. Some people just want the view, but most people want access to the water and have clean water.
Yep.
So, and I know that Andrea called us a few times when she was showing property, just to get an opinion of what we thought of the lake quality.
Yeah.
So, that was my thought.
I think the other factor in terms of real estate, I know that there was a couple that had put in a bid on our property, and they got their full money back because they said no one told them it was going to be windy here. I know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've read those complaints. There have been lawsuits about people's property being destroyed, and their realtor didn't tell them that there were big winds. It was in Pleasant Valley, Underhill.
Wow.
There was a huge lawsuit, and all the realtors got scared.
Yeah. So I think, I think it's a really valid point. Do you think we want to sit down with them before we would approve the proposal to see how they
Well,
would
yeah, I
enter?
kind of thought that what we came up with questions from here, us as a group, and if the select board, I'm presenting it to the select board tonight. All the select board is seeing is the pricing sheet, the pretty much one page, that one page,
Sure.
that how much it costs, when it's gonna be done, and if they had, I mean, I'm gonna bring the binder, but right now, the select board agendas are like 150, 200 pages. So to put the whole binder in for them to, we're just trying to cut down on paper and
Yeah.
not make them read a novel every weekend that they have a meeting. So I'm gonna bring this tonight to the meeting and they have that sheet and ask if there are any specific concerns they have. And then I thought I'd reach back out to John and say, we have these questions. Um, and kind of go from there.
Yeah. Would you think that we would want to has the select board approved the budget for next year yet?
Select board has approved the budget. It's in the town report. Now it's got to go to the voters. It's too late to change. If that's what you're wondering. Yeah, it's too late to change.
So we'd
It's
have to
all-
change the 26 budget.
We're gonna have to change the 26 budget. Yep.
Okay.
26, 27, and then probably 27, 28 for any follow-up, because if there are grievances or we go to court, it would
Yeah.
end up in that 27, 28 year. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, but I think that we're close enough. It's not gonna be like, oh my gosh, we gotta add $100,000 to the budget.
Right.
I think we're gonna be close enough that we can just bump it up and not have it be a huge burden.
Yeah,
on the-
because even with the next year, we're going to be at 132 plus whatever the state gives us.
Right,
So
yeah, so we're
be
gonna,
within
yeah,
20. Yeah.
we're gonna be close, so I don't think it's gonna be, yeah. So kudos to whoever planned on that amount for the last few years. Which,
Well, I remember we bumped it up. We had to ask for extra.
extra, yeah, yeah. Um,
That's
Another-
Tom looking ahead, saying, he didn't think we were going to have enough. So, yeah, I think we're in a good place money wise. I think we do have we have questions about how they're going to rate water quality. Are they aware of like other factors like wind? Do you think copier cost is going to be another piece that we might have to rent a copier?
I'll ask him if we need, but we have a copier.
Yeah,
I don't know that we would need another one.
Right.
I think they're gonna do everything electronically. What I was wondering though, based on what I've seen in the office, we have another set of filing cabinets. Are we gonna need another set of filing cabinets and folders? Cause after every appraisal, you usually do a new set, right?
yeah. Yeah, there would be a
Whole new set, so.
It seemed to me that I'm trying to remember, it was a long time ago. We might have had we had extra file cabinets at the time. So we had 2 banks of file cabinets.
So I'll have to see what's there, if either we box one filing cabinet up. Or.
I know
one
our oldest files are on top of the file cabinet. And then there's a set that I think go back
Yeah,
before the 2014 appraisal, and then the 2014 appraisal is in a set of,
then there's the current.
and
Yeah,
then we have our current ones.
Right.
So you leave your current ones as is, and then you start a new set of files. Actually, that makes me feel a little better because sometimes when Mary, when you and I were culling the files, I was nervous about taking so much out of them.
I know.
But
I know.
maybe it was older stuff that was already in another file.
Well, it could have been,
Yeah.
but I agree. Tom really wanted that stuff out of there. So,
But even as we're going out to look at places, we're putting more stuff in the files, like
yeah,
permits, building permits. And I noticed that in the older files, they had a picture. The first picture in the property card was also in the file.
I
So,
mean, the old, like photograph,
Yep.
not big ones. Yeah.
some had big ones.
And it appears that they're gonna take all new pictures, front and back of the property. That was another question I had. We had, and we probably still have them, all the lakefront pictures of all the properties so that we could see what their lake access was.
From the lake.
From the
Pictures.
lake, I took a lot of them.
From the lake. Oh,
Yes. It was a great excuse for a boat ride.
yeah,
Oh.
that's a great idea.
All he's asked me about is access to the islands. He has not said anything about,
I know.
around the
I know.
inland,
Walking
So-
around the path.
yeah,
Yeah,
on
the-
Butler, and he talked about we would have to provide the access to get them there, but he hasn't said anything about properties from the lake,
I know.
the view from the lake.
I know, that was one of my questions, whether. And,
Pics
and
from the
I,
lake. I mean, I guess that's another thing we could do before they did the,
We could go around and take pictures
yeah.
on the lakes
Yeah,
from the
'cause
lakeside.
we have a lot of new properties that are lakeshore,
Yeah,
that we should have pictures. I know I talked to Marilyn, last week, and she felt that lakefront pictures were really important
From the lake.
from the lake. So you could see the height of the cliff, if there is one, or lack of.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
okay, so we'll ask
So-
that.
yeah,
But we could get those ourselves.
Right.
We could get those pictures.
I think it would be a good idea if we had a kind of a little project that said pictures from the lake and the water quality kind of goes along with that. So
Yeah, both those definitely affect the value.
I think that would add to their cost if we have them do it. So I think it might be something we want to do.
Especially because they don't have a boat. I
Right.
mean, they,
Yeah, they'd have to rent it,
they'd
which would
have to rent a
cost.
boat and they were not willing to do that, which is why they said we would have to provide that. So that definitely would be on us. But I
No.
think there's plenty of people between the two of you both owning boats, and Carl has offered to do whatever too.
Oh,
So,
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, I mean, he was, I think, upset that we had asked Holly to take us. to
Oh,
Butler.
yeah.
Cause he said he would do it, but Holly knows Butler Island, she cares for the home, the camps out there, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
she was a wealth of
Yes.
information.
Yes, she was, so she's well worth the money.
Yeah.
To do that, so, and she knew exactly where she could park and, that just. Yeah,
Yep.
so.
She knew people who had just moved out, moved in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
So it saved us a lot of time, I thought. So, okay. So I think do we have enough information that, well, the select board makes the decision, but I think those are great questions, especially if it means we're going to have some work to do between now and then when they start.
Yeah,
Because I think it would be on us to do the pictures from the lake. I just think it would be a great PR move for us to talk about water quality with folks that have lakefront, and maybe come up, maybe the PBR has some kind of a map already.
Yeah,
You
I'll
said,
reach out to Mark. Yeah, I know Mark. I can reach out to Mark. He's the president.
okay.
Uh,
Do we need to take action, recommendation or not recommendation, for this to go to this, what do we want to say to the select board about the proposal?
I mean, I feel it's a good proposal. I think it's fairly thorough, missing what, the water quality, the things we brought up. But as far as their detail and how they were gonna, all the different approaches to value and how they, I think they have I know they have the experience. I thought that I would reach out to a couple of the different assessors that they've done, St. Albans, not Burlington, because John was the assessor in Burlington, but I thought I'd reach out to St. Albans, and there was another one, to see what they thought, about working with them and how it went and that kind of thing.
Ask St. Albans about what they did about water
Water
quality,
quality.
because their water quality over there is terrible.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, there are
Okay.
some places along there that are, you could hardly get in there with a boat.
okay,
So that would be a really good.
okay, yeah, I thought, because they just finished St. Albans. So,
Okay.
they did that last year. Or maybe they might be finishing it. So I thought I'd reach out to them and see how it went and if there were any concerns or, like I said, I had talked to them, the people from St. Albans, and I think it's Berkshire, but they hadn't completed the reappraisal. They had contracted with them or were in the middle of it. So, and they had nothing but good things to say, but I want to get, now that it's complete, what.
Good.
And I'll ask
It's
them how
not
the
like
end.
we have 10 good bidders.
Well, there's that too.
Right.
Yeah.
There's,
But
yeah,
I feel like that this was very professionally done, and they have good experience, and they're fairly local.
and yeah.
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 Yeah, and Kathy, you've worked with Tyler and had nothing but good things to say.
Yeah.
Not in, but in a different portion.
Yeah, they did work with us on setting up a time clock system. And it was very, very well done, and also very controversial at the time because, well, you have things like people, they call it buddy punching. You're headed to work and you're not going to be there for another hour, but you have your buddy punch you in on time, and
Oh, yikes.
so all kinds of things got really, really straightened out, and they were very, very good. And you could call anytime for tech support. So this is a little different in that this is the group that will be doing the work. We just have to make sure they're good to work with.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel good that it's Tom's son, John, that we'll be working
Yeah,
with.
and he's very well regarded. I know he gave a talk about reappraisals, mass reappraisals at the VALA convention in the fall. I think he's very well respected, so and he's been great to work with so far. He's very thorough, and it wasn't just about finding, business for them, that he wanted to make sure it was a project that his team would be successful at, so it wasn't just, hey, trying to sell us a product. It was, we can do this, and we want to make sure that everyone will be happy with the outcome. We will be successful on our side, and so.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'm not hearing that we have any stop the forward motion kind of concerns. I think we have things that we want to talk to them about, but all in all, would it be accurate to say we're in favor of moving forward if we can get those pieces sorted out?
I had a couple other questions.
Okay.
Do we have, um, do we have clear guidelines as to what is seasonal and what is year round?
What is what?
Year round,
Oh.
seasonal versus year round. Because I remember there being a few questions, realtors calling here wanting to know what's the permit? Is the permit for seasonal? Is it for year round? And we couldn't find them an answer. And I just, it occurred to me that, it would help if we knew with each property what the state says about it for being year-round or seasonal.
And that's it, what, part of what, if we bought the house couple houses off from where we live now, and it was seasonal because we were living in Connecticut.
Right,
When we retired, we moved up there. It had heat and all that kind of stuff, so it became a year-round house. So what do you base it on? You base it on its use, or you base it on what it can sustain?
well, my understanding is you base it on, in my head, you base it on first septic. Is it capable of being maintained throughout the year, or is it marginal and it will fail if you use it year round? The other thing is heat, insulation,
Yeah.
and all the amenities that a normal house has.
Yeah.
But
So it has nothing to do with how you use it.
no, not
I don't think
really.
for value, right? I think
Yeah,
for
that's if you're
value,
looking at value.
if you're looking at value, it's
Yes.
those things.
Yeah.
Yes,
I agree. I don't think we do it well in North Hero, I will admit that we do have a seasonal category, we have a residential category, and we have a seasonal category. Over and above or less than 6 acres, just like the residential 1 and 2. But I don't think it's used very much at all. I could bet you we probably have 5 properties in it, and I'm not sure why those 5 properties, and I can look into that more. I don't think it's explained well in our bylaws, in the zoning regulations, and I think the planning commission is looking at that to address that.
good.
They realize that there should be, because what they want to do is someone who's changing a seasonal residence to a year-round residence, they should get a permit for that and have to pay money to do that.
My experience though has been that the state has final say about the septic and whether or not it's permitted and what it involves, whether it's a, metal tank in the ground that's been there for 40 years, or is it a mound system that is capable of functioning year round?
The state does have control over everything septic, although I think there's a lot of things that are grandfathered. So anything after 2006, you had to have a permit, you have to have a permit, you have to have an engineered system, you have to have plans, you have to do all of that.
Yeah.
But those that were in existence before 2006, if they're working, nobody knows what they are or where they are, even in some cases, when people come in to look at a property that's for sale, and they're like, it's always about the septic. Where are the septic tanks? When was it put in? Before 2006, we don't have that information, and the state doesn't either.
Right.
So, because it's all grandfathered, so.
Yeah.
And seasonal doesn't necessarily, also is not necessarily connected to whether it's a camp or it's a camper that's parked on the site. Because some of these newer campers are.
You can live in them year.
Yeah, you can definitely live in them year round.
Yeah. I will see about, so that's a good question for them.
Yeah.
How do we handle seasonal versus year round? I'll also see what PBR says about it.
Okay,
there may be some guidance there. Okay,
um,
That's a great question, Mary.
I also, we're supposed to pay 15% upon the contracts being signed. And you hear all these rumors and things about the state and whether or not they're going to require this. And what if the state decides they're not gonna require it? And we've paid our 15% down. I don't see anything in here that
that's,
protects us.
that was one of my questions. So,
Oh.
and I didn't send it to you, or did you see it? I don't know if you get the emails or not. Kathy and I
Yeah.
talked about it on Friday, about the 21-page paper, the language going around the Ways and Means Committee.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay, so I'm gonna send you all of that. And I have a friend who's a lobbyist in Montpelier that I have him looking into it this week. He's down in Montpelier this week, and I said, can you find out, because the language says as of January 1st, 2027. And there has been talk about taking the valuation piece out of towns and putting it into districts. And they're talking about creating 12 districts, assessment districts. We would be with Franklin County. Each county would have their own. We would be with Franklin, Essex and Orleans would be one. So there'd be 12 districts in the state, and they would do the valuation at a district level.
Okay,
And the date says January 1st, 2027, which is right in the middle of all of this.
yeah,
So that is my question. If the state, so my question to this guy in Montpelier, who's a lobbyist, I said, I need to know if this is really gonna take footing, if this is really gonna get, and he says, Lisa, it's gonna happen. I said, I get that it's gonna happen, but is it gonna happen now, or is it gonna happen 10 years from now? Like,
yeah. Or
how-
2 years
or
after
2
we
years.
get this done.
exactly. Because my other question is, we've talked about changing software vendors.
Hmm.
And I don't want to change software vendors if, and sign a contract with a software vendor and then have us not need it as of January 1st, 2027, if the state's going to take everything over. The state's moving towards that VT Pi, and everything's going to be done in VT Pi. Now, I don't know about the CAMA, the CAMA part of it, the valuation part, but like the whole grand list management, we're not going to do it in NEMRIC. We're going to do it in VT Pi. So to sign up with a CAMA software and go through all that work of changing and the cost to do that and then not need it because the state take over this. So that's another one of my questions. And I'm wondering what I'm sure John stays up with what's going on at the state level.
Yeah,
So I do have, I think Tim will get back to me. I'm hoping, he said he would start, he's going to be there Tuesday through Friday next week. So this week, today's Monday. So I'm hoping have some more information on that. I'm also gonna reach out to Pat Brennan about it to see, or the Morgan guys, to see what they're hearing about it. Because I think before we spend any money and do any of this, I think we need to get a feel for that.
Yep.
And wish Benton was back and he's not, but I could reach out to PVR. They're great about answering me, although I don't know them as well. Benton may say, hey, yeah, like this is gonna happen. I don't know, not knowing the others as well as I know Benton, to see what they feel about it.
Mhm.
We got the letter from PVR, like we're supposed to do reappraisal, we're doing everything, and now all of a sudden, here we are. And if this takes effect January 1st, 2027, that puts us right in the middle. I can't imagine that they would stop us. But you're right, are we gonna lose that 15% down payment if they say, what, the assessment district's gonna take it over and take it from there?
Yeah.
So
When would we be paying them the 15%?
when we sign the contract,
Oh, when we sign the contract. Oh, okay.
right? Isn't that what you read? Yeah, it's when we sign it.
Contract signing.
Yep. So, which I saw the proposal is good for 90 days. So we've got 90 days from February 12th. So the other thing I had
So
was,
we gotta pay that 15% well in advance of them starting.
yes.
Right,
So before we cut that check, I want to make sure that the state's not going to change thing on
Yeah, put
Honestly.
everything on hold.
it and be out of that money. Yeah. Yeah.
And when we sign when we sign the contract, the proposal doesn't say, we'll have like 4 planning sessions before they get started. Maybe we could put that into the contract.
Well, it did, if you looked at the scheduling, the project schedule, it did say project management, startup, data conversion. I mean, all of that was gonna happen in March of 2026 before the, actual, they had to kick off as what? July 1st, 2026. So in March would be project management, and a lot of that would be getting the tables together, and it kind of,
Mm-hmm. So if we sign this now, they have that 15% for a year before they really get started. Yeah.
Yep. And the other thing is Mike Tarrant, the town lawyer, is gonna have to look at the contract. He just
Right.
reviews all town contracts before the select board would sign it, so, there's that. And I don't, what's a performance bond? Should we request a performance bond?
That's a Mike question. I don't know.
And maybe that is a Mike question, and a select board question, I guess.
Yeah. Performance bond. And they said they would provide that if we asked for it, right?
Right, yeah,
It's blank here.
it's blank, right. I think it's in there. It was one of the items that we can provide it if you request it.
Mhm.
But it's not something they do. The other question I had was if we did change software, they said they would do the cleanup, but is that $15 a parcel fee? It said there was a, is that what the 15, it said $15 per
Per
parcel to
parcel.
enter into new software. Is that what they're considering their cleanup fee? Because he said we would do the cleanup. So are we gonna be charged $15 per parcel for that?
I assumed from reading this that it would be if we're going to move it into the Patriot,
Right.
and it'll cost $15 in addition to,
That's what I want to just clarify, because he said, yeah, we'll do the cleanup. Okay, are you gonna do the cleanup when you enter the information like you normally would, or is that the additional $15? Because it said to input all into new software. So I guess I wanted some clarification on that, because that's another 20-something thousand dollars.
yeah,
$15 a parcel.
and is that, I assumed they could just, I guess, I don't know that much about it, but I thought that they could electronically just move it all over.
Well-
Oh, and that's probably the cleanup, because when they move it all over, it's gonna be,
Yes.
they're
It's not-
gonna have to move it around once they get it there. Okay,
Yes,
got it.
so I think the software company, Patriots, when we did the conversion, they would take our file and import it into their software. That's what they would do. And then Tyler would do the cleanup of the things that didn't match up correctly.
Yeah.
Because John said it didn't, it doesn't usually move over well, which Tom said the same thing. So,
Yeah.
which is why John recommended we do it prior to the reappraisal, so that they could do that cleanup and get it all clean. But I'm guessing that cleanup is the $15 a parcel, which is another $20,000.
Well, yes, and then we've got, printing and mailing and,
On top of all that,
yeah,
yeah.
and I'm sure you're gonna have to work extra hours.
Hmm.
And the vote,
And the vote, yeah. So there are some additional costs that aren't in that 156.
now in giving them remote access to camera.
It's already on the cloud there. We just have to set them up as a user.
Okay,
That's not an issue.
okay, it's not gonna be another,
And I think that probably will get a charge from Nemrick if we stick with Nemrick for additional users. So I'd have to find out what the
Oh, there might be a charge for additional users.
additional users in
Yeah.
Nemrick, yeah. That would fall to us.
All right, let me see if I've got the questions. How to rate water quality, and whether we would do some kind of a project on that, to try to map it out for North Hero. How to rate seasonal versus year round. The 15% down. Oh, that was my question. When is it given? And we know the answer to that one. The new system would be in place. The questions we have about the state proposal and the possibility that there might be a new system in place as of January 1st, 2027. And how would that affect our 15% down? I bet Mike is going to want to put something in there that says that we would get our 15% back
Yeah,
if the state passes some contrary legislation. Would we be changing software vendors, and the cost for them to do the cleanup, if we do have to change software vendors, would be about 20,000.
right.
Question we have. And March 2026, they would have planning meetings. So, it's very possible that the legislature would pass something in April of 2026 that could change how all this goes.
That's what my worry is.
Yeah, me too.
And then the pictures from the lake, that would be a project we would probably need to do, but just clarify with
Don't
them.
we still have the book from our old reappraisal with all the lakefront pictures? We had binders. And it had all the lakefront pictures in it.
Where is that? I haven't seen that. Where would that be? They're in binders?
Mhm.
Well, we can look.
Yeah, they were in big white binders, big, thick binders.
So it would be
Maybe.
2014 binders, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we don't have to redo that except for new
We might not
projects.
have to. Yeah. Huh.
Just the new, well, we can look.
And we go downstairs.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, we cleaned out the office in the school. I don't remember seeing anything like that. Wow. Okay. That would be very helpful if we have that. Wow.
Can't
Who took
believe
who took all those pictures, Mary?
Somewhere Ted took them and Frank and I took them. I took them. He drove.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they got uploaded into the computer? They're not on the property cards.
No, I don't think they did. I think they were kept separate. They were all lakefront from the lake.
Okay. Boy, that would be very helpful if we can find those.
Yeah.
What did I miss? Yeah. How to rate seasonal versus unit. Oh. Mm-hmm. And is there any rating based on the septic? If it's old, or new, or is there a rating, Lisa, in the cost sheet?
It's average, above average, below average.
Yeah, and they were, I mean, typically the state looks at it by bedroom. How big your septic tank is, depends, or what is needed depends on how many bedrooms you have in the house.
Right.
And so it's an issue when people add bedrooms because they can do whatever they want within their house, but then they want to sell it, and it started out as a 3-bedroom and now it's a 6-bedroom, and the septic doesn't match what the number of bedrooms is.
Right. Okay. What did I miss in terms of questions? Oh, just that in terms of that water quality. Lisa, you were going to contact Mark around the Partners for Bay Restoration, see what they have for records.
Yeah.
And also, you were going to contact St. Albans to see what their experience was with these folks.
Who were the people that put on the, there was like a little seminar one night or one day, and they put on this thing and talked about the different water quality and what you could do with your waterfront property to
Oh, shoreline committee. There's a shoreline committee.
yeah, they might be helpful with a map.
That's,
And there's Friends
uh,
of Lake Champlain.
Yes,
they're-
well, that's what I thought this other one was, with the machine that cuts the milfoil, but those are two different
They're two different groups.
groups.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is there three groups? Is there Shoreline Committee, Friends of Lake Champlain, and PBR?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
One of those is the guy that's on the Planning Commission, right? Can't think of his name. He's a consultant, works out of state all the time. I thought he was the Shoreline Committee person, but
Tom Brizzleton is shoreline committee.
okay,
there
that's not,
was also a Vermont digger. They had there was a person who had written an article, and they had contacted groups because of water quality in the islands. And I might be able to look up that article and see who wrote it and see if they might have researched and found a map. I'll do that.
Okay.
okay. I think that's good. So,
Jim pointed out some discrepancies on the schedule. The dates don't line up,
Yeah, there's a few things that end before they start.
ended before they start. I think it's just a
Yeah,
typo
just-
in the year.
Yeah, they might
Yeah.
have, or they just flip the dates from one side to the other.
Yeah, so I'll reach out about that too.
Good catch.
good one.
I mean, they're talking about a preliminary grand list in April. I mean, it's not, I'm surprised at how quick it's gonna go. How long did it take? Did it just take a year? I thought it was a couple years.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
took longer than.
I mean, that's what I thought. So I was like, this is gonna be fast and furious, I guess.
Well, I think this is a bigger group. This company is big, and it was Ted and two people who went out in the field, so. Yeah, it took a long time.
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, I added that to the list. The schedules show some discrepancies on dates. Good reading. Good to have more than couple people looking at this thing. That's good.
I don't know what he meant on the scope part. It was new market models for valuation using Tyler software. I didn't know what that was.
Oh, is that,
It's on page 13.
okay,
So I was just gonna ask on it, was Tyler shall review existing camera property descriptions to ensure compliance with the new market models for valuation using Tyler software. So I didn't know what the new market models for valuation were.
well, I think that's what they develop while they're doing their reappraisal.
Okay.
Also, on page 28, they're talking about neighborhoods.
Oh, yep.
And we did develop 3 neighborhoods in the old reappraisal where the southern end was, had a little bit higher value because it was closer to Burlington. And the north end, it's a little bit lower, but now we've got a difference in our Canadian market, I think, that may change that.
Mm.
Because of COVID, a lot of the Canadian owners ended up selling because they couldn't get down here. So it may, I don't know how this will all change, but just something to think about.
So the southern end was one neighborhood, the northern end was another, and what was like the village?
Yeah, the middle was a different neighborhood. There were 3.
Does the first digit of the parcel number represent an early neighborhood thing? Because all the ones are down south, the 5s are up this way.
That's the tax map reference, isn't
Yeah,
it? First
but
one.
I wonder if at one point it had something to do with neighborhoods in an early evaluation or something.
Maybe.
I think there's more than 3 neighborhoods. Because I find that even houses on the same street have different neighborhoods. I haven't been able to quite figure out.
Huh.
Huh.
I think it's more than 3.
How did
Well,
you,
Because like Maple Ridge will be a totally separate neighborhood on its own. Neighborhoods,
Different world.
it's a different world. They take into a lot of different factors, the neighborhood code. And part of that might be water quality.
oh,
Well, it could be. I think that was under, see, I can't remember because I haven't really done a cost sheet in a long time. But it seemed to me it was under land value.
It's
Was-
definitely under land value. The neighborhood code is definitely under land value. But
And
it
so was
takes
water
into effect kind of similar factors that are affecting all the homes at a certain location.
Mm.
So they all have similar, so. Like consider examples, it's hard. Like I would think. Like all the houses on Fifi Point, I'm thinking, okay, that would be a neighborhood to me, right? But there's different neighborhood codes within Fifi Point.
Yeah, so it might have been water quality. I can't remember. I can't remember how it went. That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
okay.
but I think we're part of that, all that. I think from what I could read in here, we could be as much a part of that discussion. They run all that stuff by us prior to.
Yeah.
They putting it into place, so. Okay, what else?
Okay,
That was all right.
That was it? Anything else for you, Jim?
No, I'm good.
I'm good. So we'll send this on to the select board for their review and we'll check out a few of these factors. Not that I feel like we have a whole lot of options.
No, a lot of options, no.
Anyway,
No, but we also don't want to end up with having it cost more than we thought it would and
right,
having to explain that to people.
exactly.
Yep.
I think if that changing the software vendor piece would be something to get cleared up because that could be another 20,000 if they have to.
Correct.
um,
Yep. And I have a demo that I can send you that too of the new software. It's pretty impressive. All the things that I'm learning in all my classes to manually calculate, the software does for you. It figures out income and approach and that, it's got all the different approaches to value, and it click on this and it can pull up comparisons. If you want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, waterfront, you can put that in there and it will tell you what in town has the same comparable.
Oh, that's
Which
great.
we can't do that now,
Hmm.
that I've figured out. I kind of have to know, yeah, well, there's a house down on, South End Road that has the same, it's kind of how you
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
So this does it all for you. So it was pretty, I'll send you the demo too. I'll
Okay.
send you the white paper and the demo.
So would it be fair to say we're comfortable moving forward if we can get some clarification on these things? Mary?
yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Jim?
Yeah, but we're probably not gonna get, guarantees from what the state might do, though.
Right.
No, but we can ask the questions and document the fact that we asked the
Yeah,
questions.
this is what we were told.
Yes,
On the state, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And if you can get something in writing so that we have that.
Yeah, that's one of the questions is if we have 15% down now and the state changes, and I'm sure our lawyer is going to suggest some wording around that we would get our down payment, I guess is what it would be, our down payment refunded. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, as you said, we don't have a lot of choices out there for,
No, we don't.
they really, I think they're a good
Yeah, they look
company
like a
to go with.
first-class operation.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not a bad option to have.
No,
No.
no,
No, I'm feeling pretty comfortable with them. I think there are some things that we should get cleared up there, or they should know that these are questions we have that need to be resolved. So I think that's fine. Okay. So we're comfortable moving it forward to the select board with having, several of these issues addressed, and we'll go from there.
Are you going to the select board meeting?
Yeah, okay. Yep, I'll be at the select board meeting tonight. And it was just an introduction. I didn't want to present it to them on the 3rd saying, here you go, sign it and prove it. I wanted them to have the opportunity to look at it and ask questions. And if we needed answers, before we took that next step. So that's all tonight is.
Okay, and then if they want to read the whole thing,
It's available to them. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a couple binders still left in the office, so
Yeah. And we have 90 days
90 days. Yep.
to review and approve this. So
Yep. So, yeah.
great.
So next on the agenda was just a 2024 equalization study follow-up, and I did talk to the state that day after our meeting the last time, and I had mailed in that missing PTTR. They still haven't received it. So they've asked me to mail it again. I know. And so I confirmed the address, which the state provides envelopes, postage paid envelopes to send in manual PTTRs, which is what I use, but the address is different where they wanted it to go. So I don't know if that's why it hasn't, and I don't, she said, I said, well, the envelopes say this. And she goes, no, send it to exactly what I have below. That's what they said to do. I'm like, okay. She said, I'll let them know their envelopes are wrong. And I'm gonna go downstairs and look and make sure that we didn't get another set of envelopes with a corrected address. And we just assumed they were the same thing and just stuck them in the pile. So anyway, it's off. I've sent it again with the correct address, I hope.
why are we using snail mail?
Well, that's the only way to do it. There's these manual types of PTTRs, you have to mail them in and they have to input them on the state side. We don't have any way of putting them in the system.
And you can't scan it and send it to them?
Yeah, I did. And she said, you need to mail it. So, yeah,
Well, that's a perfect.
It also has
excuse for
social
not
security
getting it.
numbers on it, so, which is probably why they don't wanna email.
Oh,
Although the first one I mailed, the social security number's blacked out, we black that out when we enter them here. But I had to get a redacted copy off the computer and send that in. Actually, I couldn't even print a redacted copy. I had to write in, I could take the black off and see what the social security number was and enter it, so that could be why it had to be mailed.
Wow.
So that's all, she just had the basic questions, she knew, it wasn't like we were arguing about. It was one that was missing, it's a pretty cut and dry,
yeah,
so she just wanted the facts and. She just had to document it for Christie, so.
okay.
That was it, I haven't heard anything more. And then the date of our next meeting would be March 3rd,
March 3rd.
from today.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
That's it,
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Jim and
I'll second.
Mary seconded, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I'll see you next week.
And I'll check my desk, Kathy.
Okay. See you later.
Bye,
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.
good luck shoveling out.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.